Good evening, everybody, and welcome to NACOS on ORN. We are in Michigan this week at the beautiful track of Road America. 4 miles is 1 lap and 14 turns, and there'll be 20 laps tonight as our NACOS drivers compete. With me in the booth this week is Jacob Hitz. Hey, Jacob.
Well, hi. How are you?
A lot of fun happening in practice already. Has some very fast laps being laid down with some of these drivers as they're currently qualifying right now. First impressions before we start.
Well, I think we've seen a lot of close times. Looking back at the speeds that were set in practice, we've heard Cosman say that really he's not good at, or he says he's not good at road courses, but yet he sits at the top of the board in practice with the fastest time. Huang said he's making his last start of the season this weekend. He sits second. And Cosman was warning us about Davey Hazard, says that he thinks he's got the best shot to win at a road course. He sits third, and then we've got pretty much the regulars sitting all the way in the back. So it'll be fun to watch to see them cut through the field, as right now, Davey Hazard on his qualifying lap is flying. He's the only one to set a time so far, and he is just a couple of hundredths off of what Cosman set in practice.
Yeah, interesting enough, in practice, 5/10 separate the first three, and then it's a full second back between first and fourth place. But as we know, on open track, you can do pretty much anything you want when there's cars around you. We'll be seeing how everybody handles each other heading into those turns, especially the carousel and the kink. And I'm hearing turn 2 has been kind of treacherous as well. With cars around you, this is all good.
Yeah, the last couple of corners, definitely 12, 13, 14 coming out of Kettle Bottoms, heading through Canada Corner to the end. It's definitely been a tough spot for these guys. Turn 14, we've seen a lot of cars slide off. It looks like qualifying is set now.
Huang Do within a blazing time.
That's a record.
2:09.7. That is the fastest time we have seen all weekend. See if anybody's going to take happy hour.
I would think so after a little bit here. But how about this? We have a lot of guys, 3 guys actually, that didn't qualify, including the top 2 in the championship. You've got Drive-Thru and Ben. Easter Day both trying to claw back ahead. Drive-Thru has really built some momentum over the past couple of races and started to close that gap. Right now the gap, I don't have it up in front of me, but it is still pretty sizable for Ben. Right now it's 18 points, the gap between first and second, but with Cosman looming back in fourth, and we know that Huang won't make another start after tonight, so he's basically out of the title for the run for the title. But Cosman still has a pretty good shot, especially if he can finish ahead of Drive-Thru and Ben for the next 3 races.
Well, Cosman has been dominant the past couple of weeks here in NACOS. Showed up, won his first 3 of 4 races, and has since been a dominant force. Everybody trying to keep up with him. Interesting to point out that I wonder if they perhaps Drive-Thru and Easter Day had been to their cars during qualifying, which is why they didn't set times, because it seems very interesting to want to wait in the back, especially here. With going into turn 1 and how crazy it's going to be, you want to be up front to avoid anything that might be spinning across the track.
Well, it's certainly possible, considering we heard David Alvarez say that he crashed his car on his opening lap of qualifying, which is why he didn't set a time. However, we're used to seeing him refrain from setting a time and starting at the rear of the field, so maybe just a little bit more encouragement to start at the back, or just really was trying to set a lap, thought he had a decent chance to get to the front row and just bend it and put it in the sand trap or put it in the tires. But with a lot of runoff area here, you're going to see guys that are going to get off track, lose a lot of time, but won't necessarily bring out a caution. 2 or more cars have to wreck, or somebody's going to have to flip or stop in the middle of a racing surface with somebody coming full speed ahead to really bring out a caution. It's going to make it really difficult for these guys to have a chance to pit and just get tires without people trying to pull strategy.
Interestingly enough, there's only 20 laps here, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you put it in the frame of reference of a 4-mile track, cautions don't come out unless you flip or it is a multi-car crash in the racing line. And at road courses, that doesn't typically happen. With all those runoff areas, the sand traps, if you spin out there, you're off the racing line and you are SOL unless you can catch a lucky caution or your pitch strategy works out for you.
Yeah, when we were at CGMP for the second race of the season, we didn't see a caution then, and we saw a lot of guys make contact and slide off course. But that's just the thing. They were off course. They were off the racing line. Nobody flipped, so we stayed green for every single lap of that one. Now, at Trois Rivières, we did have... that was a street course. There wasn't a lot of runoff area. So we did have cars that did bring out the caution. But here it's going to be pretty difficult unless everybody bins it here on the start. It's going to be tough for these guys to throw out caution.
And I do have confirmation that Easter Day and drive-through both binned their cars in qualifying and were unable to.
Yeah, but I mean, that makes sense, especially for drive-through, because we know that, he's without a win so far this season. He said that he thought he would be able to get a win by this point. We know a good track for him at DuQuoin is coming up next week. But so far, he's 0 for 2 at the road courses. He's, so far, has yet to do good anywhere that he thinks he's going to win at. His best finish is second. But truly, it's been a difficult ride for him this year. And somehow, he's still second in the points. So it'll be interesting to see how, if he tries to pull any strategy with trying to stay ahead of Ben and get to the front and try to get that points edge on him. Again, 18 points behind. If Ben doesn't finish and drive-through wins or finishes second, that's going to cut the gap down pretty bit by, well, a lot heading into DuQuoin next week.
And yeah, drive-through was is a very strong racer. Once we added some extra drivers in here with a lot of talent, it seems that he's now struggling to keep up as far as leaders go. Definitely a mid-pack driver right now. Has shown some strength in certain places, and DuQuoin, knowing him personally, DuQuoin is a very big strength of his, so I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Looking on track right now, heading under the Sargento Bridge, that's Cosmin Ionescu. He's done pretty well in his first 4 starts. So far, he's got a 75% win ratio compared to everything else. He's made 4 starts and he's won 3 times. He won in his first start at Eldora, then backed it up a week later at Chaudière. Did not get the checkered flag first at... I'm not sure what track that was, but then at Edmonton last week, he got the checkered flag. Of course, Cosmin didn't win at Iowa. That went to Davey Hazard. And now it is time to go to race. We've got 9 drivers here in the field.
And on the front row, we have Huang Do in the 02, that One Asian sponsored car, with a blazing speed of 209. And outside of him is Davey Hazard in the 75.
Yeah, right now we're just going to sit here and wait for the command as drive-through is harassing me in the chat, and I don't appreciate it when he should be racing, but we'll make do.
Starting third, we have Cosmin. Starting fourth, we have McGraw in the 15. Then it is Cody H Gaming in 5th. Rosenstock in 6th. Followed by David Alvarez, drive-through, and Benny's today. The first and second of the points starting next week.
Yeah, that's big. Here's the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Give your seatbelt a little tug there for me there, buddy. Get a little drink of Gatorade. Be safe. Have some fun, all right?
The cars roll off, and I should probably pull this up because I'm going to need this map here.
I have got one as well.
Yep.
14 turns, a lot to keep track of. I'm probably going to get lost here. But I'm going to do my best.
Turn
they
30.
Come through. This is turn 14 down the Road America Straight. The pace car will pull off to the right on pit road, and we are ready to go. Waiting on the command. They go up the steep hill Road America is known for. Flag stand is in view. Green flag is out. We are racing at Road America. Side by side, 3 wide in the back of the field. Alvarez does not get a great start. Easterday is around him. Rosenstock did not get a great start as well. They fall back. Hazard to the inside of Doe, hitting into that sharp right-hand turn, or that wide sweeping right-hand turn. Cosman underneath of Huang.
You see Cosman or Huang get off a little bit there. Cosman underneath him. Huang really goes off track.
That's going to leave open McGraw to take a look to the bottom. Nothing there for him. Hazard leads as we head under the Sargento.
I think this is turn 4, headed for turn 5. You see Cody. He's sitting up there in 5th, but he's got drive-through right behind him. We know drive-through really wants to pull away from Ben.
And Huang looking underneath of Cosman as they head into turn 5. Can he pull the... Cosman goes wide. Off into the runoff. So does Hazard goes wide as well. Doe to the lead. Through turn 6. Doe, Cosman, Hazard, top 3. McGraw stays in 4th. Cody Age Gaming in 5th, and with drive-through still running 6th. Easterday losing time on his points place challenger. As it looks like Huang is taking a bit of a lead as they head through this next turn.
I believe this is...
this is heading into the carousel.
Yep, this is turn 9 and 10. So you see Cosman running the outside, Hazard on the inside. Iona Shoe on the top. Oh!
Carousel is a dangerous place to make a move. It is a hard turn to navigate.
Everybody kept it on track, though. That's better than what we saw in practice. They only have to go through there 19 more times.
And this is what Huang wants to see routing out front. A battle happening behind him is going to give him some time to get away. Field pretty much straightened out at this point. As Hazard going to look to the inside of Cosman, heading into the turn 12, known as Canada Corner. Going to hit the bend here, turn 13.
Ooh, Hazard got really sideways under that last bridge there. Really could have lost the car, but he's hanging in there on Huang, that's for sure. Back up the hill.
He closed that gap. Hazard not going to let Huang get away. He's going to get some draft help on these long straightaways. As they head to the start-finish line to take lap 1. Huang Do will lead the first lap. He'll get that bonus point. Hazard not letting him get away. Pulls up to the bumper. Is he going to take a look to the inside heading into turn 1?
Nothing for him there for now.
Oh, he throws it in there. Right up on the bumper. Could have been disastrous for both those drivers.
Yeah, Huang's gone wide twice now, coming off of turn number 1. I don't know if that's really the best move for him, but so far it's worked out every time. As I think that's drive-through. Yeah, drive-through's fallen all the way back to almost last place. Almost got passed by David as Ben takes over the spot for 6th.
I wonder if he had actually gone off. Battle heating up here at the front. Hazard not letting Huang get more than half a car length ahead of him, keeping him within striking distance, waiting for Huang to either make a mistake or open.
Whoa, McGraw really got sideways, and so did...
Whoa, Huang goes wide. Hazard running underneath of him.
Oh, this ought to be good. Heading back into turn 7, I think. Yeah, whoa,
yeah,
Hazard.
Turn 7. Hazard with the crossover looking to the inside. The next turn is a left-hander. The crossover, take the inside away.
Oh, had to go wide because they can't really go side by side there. This ought to be good going into the carousel.
Into the carousel. We have Hazard on the outside, Doe on the inside. Huang slides up, gives him the pinch. Forces.
Nice.
Clean racing. And the top 3 have pulled away from that 4th.
Tell you what, Easter Day. Oh, Huang dumped it.
Oh, Huang.
Cosman hit him. That's a caution.
Cosman is involved.
Right in the middle of the track.
Wow, that's going to have to be a caution.
Look out. Oh, Huang's car's dead.
Huang is dead.
It had to
this
get towed.
works out beautifully for David.
That's rough right there.
That is a hard hit too.
Huang was definitely one of the fastest ones in the field, and just coming through. I think that was turn 12.
Coming through Canada Corner, just catches that rumble strip and just backs it in.
Yeah, he about had it saved.
Almost rolls it.
Almost had it saved, and I think he realized he couldn't hang on, locked it up, got into the concrete wall, came back across. Cosman was just kind of running the racing line, had nowhere to go, just ran right into the back of him. And, yeah, you're right, he almost flipped it. Huang didn't get hit by anybody else, though, which is lucky, because it's tough to see. That's a blind corner to begin with, and with that smoke there, you're really in trouble sitting in the middle of the racetrack.
And this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting. How long is Cosman going to be in the pits? How much damage did he take on that hit?
Well, so far
Hazard leads him
everybody's
down the pit
coming,
road.
except I don't know what happened to the 32. He's way back behind the rest of the field.
He's not been having a great time back there.
Oh yeah, I've noticed I've seen
So
he's
Kwong
gone
took a
wide now.
toe.
Yeah, I would assume since Huang took the toe that he's either done, or just didn't feel like driving it back, and he will still continue. Otherwise, I think he would have retired by now. But we'll see.
4 tires to call in fuel, although fuel is not much of a factor here.
Yep, and Cosman is going to lose a lot of spots. He's going to get out in front of, I believe, Cody.
Alvarez, he's going to get behind Cody and in front of.
Okay, so now everybody's just going to basically park it here so we can do a lap and get it back going.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll do a mid-track caution or mid-track green.
No, I don't think so.
Hazard leads McGraw up to second. Easterday into third.
And the 32 of Chance Rosenstock has retired from the event.
Yeah, he did not look like he was having a great time back there. A couple times that I had been going through the field. Happy for him to show up. It's just, so all drivers have their tracks that they hate. This might be one of the ones that he just doesn't do well.
And tonight is his first start here in NACOS. He was supposed to make his first start, I believe, at Iowa. And
I believe he did make that start.
Yeah, it looks like he did make that start. Okay, then I'm wrong. But that's still a heartbreak for him because he didn't do all that well at Iowa either. But now everybody's basically red flagging it here, and looks like Huang is finally getting repairs on pit road.
Confirmation, he did start in park.
Okay. So it truly was just for the points, as Huang is now getting service, the lefts and now the right sides on his car. You got to wonder if that damage is going to hurt him a lot or just a little and still be decently fast.
Well, he's also now a lap down as well, I believe.
Not
Sure. He's showing at the tail end of the lead lap right now, but I believe he is a lap.
Well, since he did cross the finish line when he towed, I think he's okay. We'll have to see when they come back around because they'll probably wind up taking the green flag this time by, but I think he should be okay.
All right. So Hazard takes the outside line, which you would seem as the preferred line, considering the first turn here is a right-hander rather than a typical left.
Whoa, Huang really went wide there coming out of 5.
I believe he's trying to catch the field right now.
Well, he was pretty close to begin with, and then on that one camera shot, you just see this white 02 go flying by the screen. But, yeah, an interesting race so far. One caution to start. It's just with these cars are so on edge all the way around. I won't be surprised if we see another caution by one of the front runners that are just trying to stay ahead and just get loose in the wrong spot and go for a slide and take a couple cars with him. But that's the nature of this track. It's hot, it's slick. But we'll have to see what happens next week at DuQuoin for sure, because tonight really impacts the next 2 weeks for the championship. So I realized I did not send the stream link out.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, interesting enough, we after that we're bunched back up here. Drive through and Easterday are side by side again, with a strong running Cosman running behind them. We'll see how that's going to affect those two as they battle for championship points here. Clearly, we've seen that Hazard is the pace to beat now that Doe is a lap down. If Cosman can keep up, it'll be a good race for the front. But I believe you'll see drive-through and Easterday racing each other more than the rest of the field as they try to one-up each other for those spots to get just a little bit more ahead in the points or close that gap just a little bit more.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is back in practice, drive-through was about 4/10 faster than Easterday. Now, obviously, they didn't get a chance to qualify, so they were stuck where they were at the back of the field. So it'll be interesting to see, what mistakes Ben makes compared to drive-through and vice versa. Like we saw earlier on in this race, as we're coming up to the final corner and getting back to green.
Indeed we are. Hazard will lead them. Taking the, I guess that's an inside, I guess you can call that the inside slot.
It's the right side.
McGraw on the outside in the National Guard 15. Ben will line up behind them with drive-through outside him. Cody outside of Cosman. And then Alvarez and Doe will bring up the rear of the field. As we're getting ready to go green again, and the green flag is out. Hazard with a great start, clears the 15. He's going to have whatever line he wants heading into turn 1.
Oh, Huang's going to take it Pocono style, 4 wide headed for turn 1. Thought better of it.
Easterday inside of drive-through. Cody going to look for underneath the drive-through as well. Thinks better of it as they head down into turn 3. Oh.
Cosman almost got pushed wide there by Cody. But now I think Cody's just going to pull over, let him pass. But Ben being in front of drive-through, that's it's not really helping his cause right now.
I think Cosman's got a little bit more damage than he thought he did.
Yeah, Huang is literally pushing him down the straightaway.
Pushing him down the straight.
Headed for turn 5. A little bit of a lockup there by McGraw. As Hazard goes a little wide, but everybody hangs on.
And Huang is going to go underneath of Cody and take that 6th spot.
Here comes Cosman to the inside of drive-through. Oh, clears him. See ya later.
And Huang looking to capitalize as well.
Certainly, drive-through is not in a good spot right now. He needs something bad to happen to Ben. To help tighten that gap up.
Ooh, Cosman takes that turn a little bit too tight and bounces wide. He's going to lose some time on Ben. Meanwhile, out front, Hazard continues to lead and continues to gap McGraw, who is in 2nd place.
Well, you can tell it's moderate damage considering the 2 cars that were involved in that last wreck right now are running 4th and 5th and flying and catching the cars in front of him. Cosman is all over the back bumper of that 53 as David slaps the wall behind him. We stay green. So he just brushed it.
Yeah, Cosman to the outside of Ben. He's going to think better of it, fall back in line here.
Oh, now he cuts.
We head down the long front straight, or head for the long front straight, I should say. Through this last sequence of turns. Has been tricky for everybody in practice, as we know turn 14 has been where a couple drivers have gone.
Yeah.
As you see them, they all get a little squirrely heading into turn 14.
Well, I think with fresher tires, they should be okay for now. But once they get on worn tires late in the race, they're going to have to really take it easy through that last corner.
Big question is who makes what move on who. Draft is a factor here on these longer straights. Ben going to look to the inside of McGraw. I don't think he's quite there enough. Might try to outbreak him. Nope, thinks better of it. Holds on to 3rd place. Cosman still lurking in the shadows there in 4th. Huang closing in on them as well. Easterday to the bottom. Thinks better of it again. Almost lets Cosman get to the outside there. Maybe he went for the block rather than the pass.
Well, we know Easterday doesn't drive as aggressively as some of the other guys in the field. But I think he's going to have to start driving more and more aggressive now that he's lost some points.
And Huang going to look underneath of Cosman here.
Oh, and Cosman just...
Oh! McGraw locks up, holds up Easterday. Cosman passes 2 cars in 1 turn, but he went way wide.
Yeah, Cosman...
paid for it for sure.
I don't think Cosman hit the brakes going in there. He just sailed it in, and it showed on corner exit when everybody and more passed him. Coming through.
I wonder if he forgot what turn he was on.
No, maybe. I don't know.
Which does happen as Easterday pulls side by side with McGraw as we head into turn, I believe this is 6.
No, this will be
this is 8. We're turn 8. Yep. Through the carousel, Easterday's going to clear McGraw.
Oh, they're side by side behind him. They'll
look
bring
Doe behind him.
McGraw
stuck on that bottom side of that carousel. That carousel is dangerous.
He's going to fit in line there right in front of Cosman. As he
Cosman goes off again.
But McGraw got loose as well. That didn't really help either of them. But now Easterday in 2nd. He's got 4 cars between him and drive-through right now.
Yeah, Huang breathing down Easterday's neck as well. Probably looking to get by so he can try to reel in Hazard here.
Yeah,
head through Canada corner. Joe goes to the outside.
Work
tucks back in, and they're going to head through 14. The curve.
Oh, here's his move right here.
On 14. Here's the move for 2nd place. He's going to clear. He might bring Cosman with him. Cosman will pull alongside of Ben because they're going to head down the long straight side by side.
There.
Hazard
What a
continues to
pass.
lead. 5 laps down, 15 laps to go.
Ben is still side by side with Cosman. Cosman's not getting as much of a draft as he would like, probably because of the aero damage it has from the wreck. But
Late braking. Oh!
man!
Cosman almost wipes him and Doe out into that sand trap at the end of turn 1. That would have been bad for both those drivers.
Yeah, they probably would have went off into the tires.
And now here's Easterday looking inside, not going to take the move. Cosman going to continue to hold on to third place. Huang looks like he's going to try to start to reel in Hazard, who has a comfortable lead out front.
Yeah, 5 seconds. He's set away from everybody else right now.
Yeah, he is. He is gone indeed. As Doe looks like he is pulling away from Cosman, who's now third, and Ben not ready to give up that spot. Late breaks into turn 5.
Yeah, Cosman locked him up there
Nothing
too.
to
Goes a
it.
little wide. Ben's still there. See what he does in 6. Nothing.
Nothing there for him. Drive through ahead of Cody by a comfortable margin. He tries to reel in McGraw and put one car in front of him, being Easterday. His points.
Ooh, McGraw went really
Oh,
wide there.
McGraw goes
Oh,
wide.
he's
Oh, he's going
spinning.
to drop it.
We
He's
stayed
off. He's off the
green.
race.
Yep.
Oh, almost cost Alvarez a race.
Yeah, we stay green
Yeah.
now.
That
Nobody
puts drive through
survived.
up to 5th with only Ben right in front.
I was gonna say now he's got Ben right in front of him. The only problem is there's about a second at least between those two, maybe almost 2 to 3 seconds. So there's a
Hazard
lot of
continues
catching
to
up to do.
enjoy this lead out front. Moseys his way through the Canada corner into the Bell Mitchell bend in turn 13. Oh, a little sideways. And he's going to take turn 14. Whoa. Overdriving a little bit. Perhaps he sees Huang is in his mirror. He heads down the long straight as well.
Well, we know Huang was fast. He set the fastest lap in qualifying. He qualified on the pole. But there's a difference between being fast on hot laps and being fast consistently for 18 laps straight. Now, we know Huang has damage, but if he's still able to catch Hazard with that damage, that's pretty impressive.
I would agree as well. With moderate damage, however, there's not a lot of... takes a lot to damage these engines here, so he's really only going to be affected on these long
Whoa,
straights.
Cosman's wrecking.
Cosman's around.
He got too wide coming off of turn 1.
He's off the racing line. Are we going to stay green or are we going to go to yellow? I think we're going to stay green.
We do stay green. He got really wide coming off turn number 1, got off into the loose stuff, and just lost the car. Spun it right in front of Easterday, and that's going to help close that gap between him and drive-thru.
That's going to put Easterday on the podium in that third spot with drive-through lurking and trying to catch him. Looks like he might actually be gaining ground on Easterday.
Long Tokyo drift through turn 5.
Yeah, these cars will get around on you if you're not careful enough. You get too early on the throttle through these turns, you're going to wind up kicking that back end around and throwing off into those. Luckily, he had a runoff there, not a gravel trap. As he's going to lose a lot of ground on that first place. Not much going through the field so far. After Cosman dropped it, everybody's kind of straightened out. Quite a few car lines between each car.
Yeah, well, Cosman has to catch everybody now. I mean, he fell all the way back to Alvarez back in 7th spot, so he has to pass every single car to get back to where he was earlier. You got to wonder if he's just going to take his time, wait for other people to make the mistake, or just...
He's going to have to...
Oh, Cody's
he's going to have
spinning
to
in
do
front of
his...
him. Oh, and David misses him.
And we should stay green
Huang
here.
is off, and we have a caution.
Oh, do we?
Yep.
We have gone to yellow.
This time it's for Cody's spin coming off of turn number 12, I believe. This is Canada corner, same spot where Huang dropped it. And similar tail for Cody. Slid it through there. I tried to hang on to it a bit longer before just locking it down right in front of Cosman. Cosman did a good job avoiding it. David went really wide and almost had to dirt track it by him. Actually, I don't think that's turn 12. That might actually be...
I think it might have been 11.
Yeah. That's turn 11. You're right.
This is not what Hazard wanted to see, running out front with a huge cushion. He's now got the strongest driver in the field right behind him.
Yep.
we've seen Huang be fast. It's a matter of whether or not he can hold on to it. This is what Cosman wanted to see, however.
Yeah,
After
seriously.
having dropped it, is he's got Drive Through in front of him, followed by Easter Day, and this is exactly what Drive Through wanted to see. Now that he's got Easter Day within striking distance as well, as he's essentially racing one car. Any other spot he could put between himself and Ben would be considered a bonus.
Yeah, and looks like everybody's gonna stay out. I don't know if they're gonna wait to open pit road next time by, but I tell you what, I'm gonna go back into options and turn up my sound because I realized I did not have it up as high as I should have a couple laps ago. So there we go. Now you can actually hear the cars.
I'm getting word. This might have been earlier, but I believe Alvarez went off and is having some power damage.
Well, that might
so
have been where he
off pace.
might have been where he slapped the wall coming out of that same corner that Huang and Cody have had issues in. But I think right now they're trying to hurry up around so they can get to pit road because they're not doubling up quite
it
yet.
doesn't look like it.
So I think they're just gonna scurry to get to pit road and try not to waste his.
It's almost guaranteed the call is going to be 4 tires again. Those tires are going to become huge in a longer run.
Now, one thing we're going to have to keep in mind is these guys aren't used to running on worn tires. If we go green from here to the end, these guys are going to be running on 12-lap old tires. That's going to be big, considering the longest green flag run we've had has been about 5 laps.
That's 48 miles of tire. That's quite a bit of wear. And on these turns, some of these turns are tight. It wears those tires a lot harder. There's not a lot of banking here in any of these turns, for that matter. Especially carousel. It's very flat. It's going to put a lot of wear on those outside tires, which would actually, I guess, be the inside tires of the driver's side. So they're going to wear unevenly as well. So you don't know what you're going to get when you're heading into some of these turns as you get into those late green flag.
Well, yeah, just like we've seen going into turn 11, we've seen a lot of cars slipping and sliding, like what Cody's done. Here they head now into turn 12.
Swan got a little anxious there and pulled ahead of Hazard for him.
Yeah.
We just yawn at the same time.
Probably. It's been a long day, long past couple of days.
Yep. I think it's a good time to remind the fans that there is still, I believe, 2 weeks of NACOS left? 2 or 3 weeks left?
Yeah, we've got 2 races to go after tonight. Next week,
Coin and then
DuQuoin,
Slinger.
Then we wrap it up at Slinger.
Slinger is going to be a fun race, I believe. High banks, quarter-mile track. Going to maybe even see some outside grooves, too. You know?
Yeah, and I have no idea what the announcing picture is going to look like for the next 2 weeks. I know Jimmy will miss the finale. And I know Tracy said you were going to run the finale. Not sure about next week.
Definitely going to run the finale. I'm only going to be running part-time next season, for sure. Probably going to run the dirt races. I'm just still not sure about DuQuoin next week. It's going to see what we're going to need in the booth. And if you need me here, I would actually rather be here than in the way out there.
That's fine. We'll see what happens as we get close to the end of the season. And
a bit of a rub there
no
from drive-through.
Oh, Huang overshot his box. So
drive-through.
He's going to go to the
cut
rear.
across Ben's nose as well.
Great. Well, I don't know what Season 2 looks like, when it's going to happen. I know what will happen eventually is Cosman will get off pit road second, and Huang loses 3 spots.
You can follow the official NACOS Twitter. I believe it is
I think it's just at NACOS Twitter.
At NACOS NR 2003, I think.
mean,
you can just search NACOS, and you should be able to find it.
But let's see. Let me check my Twitter to see if I can find. It is at NACOS NR 2003. What the heck, drive-through? What do you do? What kind of
probably
name is
NACOS
that?
was probably taken. But interestingly enough, with overshooting his pit box, Huang has dropped to 5th place.
Yeah.
Cosman now behind Hazard. Huang through the grass. I'm not sure why. I guess for fun. Easter Day in 3rd, drive-through in 4th, Huang in 5th. So it's just, Cosman and Huang have swapped spots after those pit stops.
Mm-hmm. So
I really hope we're not going to double up on. I think we're in turn heading to.
I don't think we're going to double up yet. I think they might do that in carousel.
Yeah.
But after tonight, we've got really 4 races left. The 2 here at NACOS, and then we have the final 2 ORL IROC races coming up this Sunday and next Sunday. And that'll wrap up ORN for a little bit. Don't know what the future holds for the network after Slinger. That'll be the last race for now. I know we'll be on a little bit of a hiatus. Really, NACOS Season 2 will kind of, sort of have an influence on when we may be back, but we'll see. And
in the meantime, be sure to drop a follow so you can stay up to date on when ORN does go live.
yes.
Because ORN doesn't just do NACOS. You guys have been invited to do other events as well. So you never know when something's going to come through the pipeline and where you're going to be. So be sure to drop a follow on to ORN to stay updated on when we go live.
And if you are on desktop or laptop, if you scroll down, you will be able to find our Twitter. That will also have some updates as to when things will be returning and when things could be coming in the future. But right now, everything's up in the air. And
I'm optimistic for the future, however.
yeah,
but again,
it's been a fun
drop
ride
a follow
so far.
if you want to stay up to date.
It's been a fun ride so far, and I want to continue here with ORN, and we'll see what the future brings me and how much I'll be able to continue to do this. But nevertheless, don't forget ORN is now affiliated. After fighting with Twitch last week, we got it affiliated. The subscriptions, bits, all those fun things.
Any subs and bits also well deserved. Also, you should say you can send some bits to cheer on your favorite driver as well, and we can read them out here in the booth.
Absolutely.
Ready to come through the final turn and take the green flag this time.
Yeah, here we go.
Hazard has the call.
All right, here they come up. Up the hill.
Green flag is out.
Oh,
here we go.
Trying to get some cheese there on that start.
11 laps to go this time.
Ben put a big block on Wong
Hazard
trying to come up the hill.
Hazard again with a great start. Pulled out to a full car length between second and third there. Easterday looking for the run on the inside. If he tries for the late break, might be able to get it. Doesn't quite get there. Easterday getting pushed by Cosman, who has Huang all over his bumper.
Goodness.
Easterday with a great restart
on Cosman.
to get ahead of Cosman. 3 wide.
Easterday, I don't like this. Okay.
Huang has to back up. He's going to drop back to 5th on that. Tried to push it 3 wide. Thought better of it. Had to get out of it. Here's Cosman's on the inside of Ben as we're heading down to turn 5, which is a sharp left-hander here.
Yeah, Hazard's just pulling way back to normal, but, you know. I think Huang got sent by Cody. Cody has to go, basically cuts the corner. I don't know if that was an evasive move by Huang or if Huang actually did get a tap from Cody, but Cody winds up losing the spot. Here's Huang trying to fight for drive-through spot of 4th. And with Ben running in 2nd, it's big for points.
Oh, McGraw goes a little wide out of that turn. Down to the inside of drive-through as they head through this turn.
Whoa!
Oh, he's sideways. Can't make it stick.
He tried to cut the corner a little bit, got on the rumble strips, and just couldn't hang on. Now he's got McGraw on his inside through the carousel.
Through the carousel, driving by himself. Cosman all over Ben. We're heading down through to the kink next. Is Cosman going to try to make a move here? Is he going to wait on that another long straight here?
I don't think he's close enough to try and make a move here. He's going to have to go all the way around through Kettle Bottoms and try to get a run on him here through Canada Corner.
Yeah, kink left here. Going to try to get a run on the Canada Corner. He's going to take a look to the inside. Is he going to think better of it? He is. He's going to hold on to that position there in 3rd. Ben, just driving, great defensive driving right now. Cosman has shown a little bit better speed, but he just can't get around him as Ben is just out driving him currently. Meanwhile, Hazard continues to pull away. Cosman looks to the inside on the final turn.
Oh, he just
can't get it to
sent it.
stick. Almost. It was a little bit wide out of the
Here
turns.
comes
Well,
Huang.
drive-through goes wide. Huang to his inside. Huang going to take over 4th place.
Oh, yeah, cleared him by a mile. We're now halfway home here at Road America.
40 miles between us and glory. Hazard continues to lead. Hazard running a throwback paint scheme to when his dad raced late models as well, as he has shared with us.
Yeah.
That lovely pink and black 75.
One of the best schemes on the track, in my opinion. It's something.
Cosman, as always, carrying the splash and go graphics on the car. Looking pretty good with that really cool, I don't even know what to call it, like a hex plating, I guess.
Yeah.
And some fun faces on that car. If you don't follow Splash and Go, they do provide a lot of the mods. If you are an NR 2003 driver, you should check out Splash and Go for their mods. A lot of great work over there. Swan goes wide a little bit there. He's going to lose a bit of time.
Really wide through turn 5. My goodness.
Interesting enough, Cosman, with his great win percentage, originally was invited to be in NACOS, but couldn't race until about halfway through the season.
I'm sure everybody in the field is thanking their lucky stars that he couldn't race until 3/4 of the way through the season, because in 4 races he's a championship contender, which is incredible.
An incredible feat by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, he's going to go wide in the carousel. He's going to catch the grass.
Oh, Ben
that could have been bad. That could have been.
Ben screwed it up too.
He's wide out of the carousel. Whew.
Man, really rough
Great
turn.
bit of driving there by Cosman. That grass can be deadly.
Oh, went again.
Swan is going to pull right up on him now. Heading through Kettle Bottoms into the Canada corner. Is Juan going to look for a move? He is.
Oh, Cosman tried to block him going into the corner. He's going to overcook it and almost.
Oh, he locks it up.
Ben got turned.
Oh, I think we're going to go to yellow here.
Everybody on the brakes.
We are yellow.
Yes, we are. So drive-through has slid into 3rd because Cosman just punted Ben out of the way.
I'm not sure it was intentional. Let's go back and take a look at that.
I think Netcode may have just had a part of it because I thought he missed. But just Cosman trying to outbrake Huang. Couldn't make the corner, and he just barely caught him in the rear. Huang slides himself into 2nd, just shot the gap through the middle. And Cosman stuck on the outside of the track. And and drive-through stays out. Everybody else but drive-through comes onto pit road.
Yeah, those points are important. He's going to take that lead lap point. Ben hasn't led a lap yet today.
Remember, you don't get points for leading laps here in NACOS. You only get points for leading the most laps and getting the pole. So,
I thought there was a lead a lap. I'm pretty sure there's a lead a lap bonus, but we can figure that. It looks like Cosman was concerned with Huang on the inside.
That's NL. That's Ben's lead that I'm thinking of. NLN. Yep. Yeah. You're right.
Cosman just catches enough of Ben's bumper to send him around. That's really.
Drive-through did not get credit for leading that lap, so he'll get credit next time by. But Hazard has locked up the most laps led, so he will get those points. However, this is only his 3rd start. He did get the win. However, right now in points, he sits in a whopping 9th place. So he'll skip over a couple, might put him in the top 6 if he can get the win, especially. But nothing too big for him there.
You got to wonder what drive-through, because everybody but drive-through pitted, correct? Mm-hmm. It looks like drive-through's going to go for he's going to want to lead the lap, take that point. But I wonder if he thinks he can hold off Ben even on those older tires. I mean, the tires aren't that old, only a couple laps. That might only become a factor. So if he can put enough time between him and Ben, he might run out of time.
Well, here's the thing. You're exactly right with the worn tires, but you got to remember, drive-through is on a couple lap older tires. If these guys are sliding around on 2 and 3 lap old tires, imagine what drive-through is going to have to do on 5 and 6 lap older tires here as we get close to the checkered flag. It's a good strategy call by drive-through, but if he gets a caution soon, like right after the restart, I think he should come back. I think he should come onto pit road and get those tires, especially if other drivers come with him. Now, if other people stay out, then I think he may have dug himself a little bit of a hole. I wouldn't think staying out twice is going to be the strategy that wins the race, but it could be wrong.
I really think he's playing a points play here. I think he's been stronger than Ben through practice. We didn't get to see it in qualifying, but I think he was stronger than Ben through practice. Mm-hmm. And so far in this race, he's just been having the bad luck of positioning. And I think he thinks he can outdrive Ben as far as defensive and keep himself in front of Ben and take the lead, that extra point with leading a lap and try to close that gap even more.
Another thing to look at here, it's going to be fun to watch on the restart. Cosman is going to restart last. He's in 8th spot. We know he's hungry. We know he wants to get another win and really make himself a contender in the last 2 races of the season. I imagine he's going to be cutting through the field trying to move people out of his way just to have a shot to get a top 3, especially with drive-through leading and Ben sitting in 4th. It's going to be tough even to get to 3rd with Huang running up inside the top 3. Cosman could be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, it looks like Cosman could have a little bit of a problem having to fight back to the pace. Again, going to have to put on his best Sebastian Vettel impression and drive from the back of the field to the front. As Huang driving through the grass, I guess keep his tires cold, but they're fresh, so they should be cool. I guess he's having fun. Yeah, I can't blame him. Gotta have fun when you're out.
David was doing that too, so not quite sure what he's doing, but he's going to have to get back on the racing surface soon. We're in Canada corner right now, getting ready to go back to green. And, Cosman's going in the grass, as is David. So maybe this is a strategy. Your guess is as good as mine.
Who knows? You know, never try to get in the mind of a race car driver. It'll never make sense to you.
That's for sure.
All right. Front row, drive through. Hazard to his outside. Doe right behind drive through. Easterday behind Hazard. Cody right behind them with McGraw, Ionescu, and Alvarez leading out the rest of the field.
Here we go.
We're getting ready to go green.
This ought to be a good restart. There's the green.
Green is out. Heading down towards turn number 1 down this really long straightaway. Looks like drive-thru's going to get a push from Huang.
Oh,
he's gonna
man.
That's going to be dangerous.
Oh,
that's going to get dangerous.
Oh, I thought Huang was going to try and make a move to the inside. Thought better of it, though.
Hazard to the outside, trying to make a move on the outside here, trying to make it stick.
Oh, he is.
He is. He's going to take that lead.
Just flew by him. Here comes McGraw on the bottom of Huang.
Huang looks to the bottom of Huang, gets underneath of Easterday. Huang now going to be looking to make a move on drive-through to try to not let Hazard get too far away again.
Well, and Cosman's trying to pass Easterday right now, so big for points. If the race were to end right now, drive-through would be sitting pretty, but right now he's got a long way to go, and doesn't have the best tires in the world to try and get there. As Hazard,
8 laps, the distance still
Hazard
to go.
went a little wide. Here comes Huang, big run.
Yeah, Huang forces drive-through to take the wider side through that turn. Not where he wants to be as they head into turn 6. McGraw all over the back of drive-through, who looks to just hold its position where he's.
Here they come through 7. Cosman trying to get by Easterday. Easterday shuts the door. Into turn 8 as Hazard slides the tires. Huang is really wide, but he hangs on into the carousel.
Into the carousel. McGraw holding up Easter.
And he's got Cosman right
Cosman
behind
trying
him.
to get around him.
Another bump. He got into him. Oh, Cosman's going to wreck it. Into the wall.
Into the wall.
No, he stay green.
Hard. Yeah, he's going to stay green. He's off the racing surface. Probably not too much damage, but he's going to lose a lot of time.
Now I understand the I'm not good at road courses thing that Cosman was trying to pull earlier on.
As you said earlier, it's all about consistency, not hot laps.
Yep.
Which is what we've seen here.
Easterday almost had a shot under McGraw, but he shut the door on him. As
Huang has closed the gap.
Huang just sent it under the bridge, but he's going to make it stick. Into the final corner.
Got to do it while you still can on these fresher tires.
Yeah, coming to 7 to go here. Huang is not fooling around. He wants this win. Wants to try and tie Cosman again for the most wins in the season. Of course, this being
on his last start.
Yeah, this being Huang's last race. It'll be difficult for him to defend the most wins in the series with 2 races to go, and Cosman being one of the fastest cars in the field. As Easterday,
he's got a good run through one. Trying to close it up here as they head into turn 3. It's not quite there enough, not enough to make a move just yet, but the heat battle is still here. Hazard continues to lead. Huang still breathing down his neck as we head down the long straight, headed into turn 5.
I tell you what, I think Hazard has the straightaway speed because of the aero damage that Huang got from that first wreck. But I think in the technical part of the course is where he really gets close through the corners and those super short straightaways. That's where he catches Hazard. So Hazard may have him beat on the straightaways, but there's a lot of turning at this center part of the course, which is going to mean that Huang's going to have to be perfect and need Hazard to make a mistake.
And behind them, drive-through continues to hold on to third place. But Easter Day has got around McGraw. And go, it's going to have to be now because Easter Day is going to close that gap. As Huang looks under towards the outside of Hazard through the carousel, thinks better of it as they come out it. Head down to another long straight. Or actually, short shoot to 211 to the long straight down towards turn 12. Oh, it looks to the inside. He is
Huang
throwing it
sent
around here.
Again, he almost lost it like he did on the second lap of the race, but he is still right there.
Huang using those new tires to his advantage, trying to get around Hazard because he might think that's his only chance.
Oh, Hazard slid it. Hazard slid it, and here comes Huang right to the bumper.
The bumper to bumper heading through the bend.
Through turn 13.
14. Huang's gonna look to the inside. Nothing
won't
gonna
have
get
enough.
there. They continue to be within half a car length of each. Does Huang have something heading into turn 1?
Yep, still
Hazard
Huang.
trying to break the draft here. Huang's gonna pull right up to that bumper. As they zigzag down the long straight.
Breaking the draft in late model cars here at Road America, but I guess whatever works.
Try not to give Huang that run into turn 1 here, but he might be.
I think Huang just
without
may
a
try to outbrake him, maybe get into him, move him up out of the groove. But right now, he's being a little more conservative than I would have thought he was. Hazard defensive line into turn 3. It's a good move right there.
Huang's got him where he's wanted him. He's got him on his toes. He's on defense now rather than trying to offensively drive. So he's going to have to be reacting rather than being proactive behind the wheel there in first place.
But again, Huang struggles on the straightaways because of the aerodynamic damage that he has. So the fact that he's this close now, I think Hazard's going to lose the lead in this time.
So to the outside of turn 5.
They both
Nothing
locked
going.
him up.
This is what Huang needs, though. If he's got Hazard driving defensively, it's going to put Hazard on edge and going to force him to make a mistake so that Huang can.
Ben really hasn't been able to catch drive-through, which is big for the points. They don't need to worry about Huang. They don't need to worry about Hazard. They're not championship contenders right now. It's between those two and third and fourth right now. And wherever Cosman is, if he's still all the way in the back of the field, it looks like he is. That's where the battle is right now for the championship. They don't have to worry about these top two, which might be a good thing considering they really didn't have the fastest cars so far today.
Huang closes the gap through the bend. Right down the long straight with a slight left-hander. So we head towards Canada corner and turn 20. I just think he's overdriving the turns, which isn't going to give him the runs off the turn. And even with that aero damage, I think he's got enough to get around Hazard if he can just set the run up. But I think he's just throwing the car through the turns is not helping him.
Well, I think Hazard's doing the same thing right now, just trying to keep Huang from getting to the inside like
look to
that.
the inside.
He almost wrecked it. At least he didn't hit him. My goodness. Here we go with the dragging it around the stretch again. 5 to go at the line.
What a battle for the lead this has been. Hazard continues to zigzag to break that draft. Can wind up losing his momentum, though. Might want to be careful doing so. Through turn 1, Hazard continues to lead. Huang looks to the outside as they head into turn 3.
We got the
gets in the grass.
He's there.
Tries to outbrake. He tries to outbrake him. But that lockup.
He was on his outside. He just couldn't.
Under the Sargento Bridge, he's going to look to the inside as their next turn is a left-hander. Going to want to try to set himself up here on the inside. Hazard is not giving away that inside.
He's lost a lot of time here on Hazard. As Hazard locked him up, though.
Huang slides through turn 5 and goes wide.
Oh, he did, but Hazard, you got to wonder about Hazard. He's locked him up almost every time going through turn number 5.
Easter Day is wrecked. Easter Day is wrecked.
Oh, yeah, he's got a lot of damage on that left side.
What happened here?
I wonder if he got off here. Oh, it was turn 1. No, it was turn 14. It was the final corner.
It was,
no,
that was Canada.
Oh, wow. Oh, he got into the tires. Oh, we just lost it and went head on into the wall. Good. Wow.
With the battle for the lead calming down a little bit, I looked at, he nosed in it.
Yep.
That's rough.
And that's what sucked him around into the tires there with the right side.
Good news for drive-through is he is all alone in third place right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the lap-led point, and he's going to finish on the podium.
That's what drive-through needed to see. Easter Day has not led a lap. Drive-through did. And now he's 2 spots ahead of him as Huang gives Hazard the bump coming out of turn 12. He is right on him.
If they head through the bend, can he set up turn 14? Hazard goes a little
Hazard
wide out
pulled
of the
awa-
bend.
Hazard pulled away a little bit, but he's going to slide it.
He's got the back end, kick it around the cars, way
Saved
loose.
it.
He is on edge. Huang trying to do anything he can to get Hazard to make a mistake.
Drive-through is in the perfect spot headed into DuQuoin next week. If he can break through and get that win next week, it's going to be a dogfight for the championship. And who's to say that Cosman doesn't get second place next week at DuQuoin, and his finish basically determines the championship in 2 weeks at Slinger. It's going to be a fun 2 weeks. If you aren't watching these races live and you're watching them on YouTube, because we do re-upload them, you need to start watching them live, because these next 2 weeks are going to be something to watch.
Every driver wanting to be the inaugural champion. I mean, being a champion is amazing, but think about being the inaugural champion of any series, especially a series that features people like Cosman, Huang, Cody H Gaming, some of the bigger names. You want to be that inaugural.
Through turn 6, it's all...
Huang has been hounding Hazard, trying to just get him to make a mistake, but Davey not having any of it.
Well, Hazard got through turn 5 better that time. He didn't... Ooh, excuse me. He didn't lock the tires up, which is good. Trying to save those front tires, but Huang is still breathing down his neck as they head to the carousel.
Refusing to let him get away. Oh, Huang gets a little sideways heading into the carousel there. It is smooth sailing for drive-through as long as he can keep the car underneath of him. He should. Easterday going to limp the car around now at this point.
Oh, Huang really got close there through the kink. That's where he gains the most speed on Hazard, which is what makes him get such a good shot going into 12. We'll see if he can do anything, though. Coming into Canada corner, looks to the outside. He's just not close enough to try and give him a bump, but he's right there on corner exit. Hazard got sideways.
They're going to head into the bend here.
Hazard pulls it away, though, in 13. Huang has to run a little wide. That's big for Hazard. He's just able to pull away. 3 to go at the line.
Huang had a bad entry out of turn 13. Did not look that great. That's going to give Hazard quite a bit of space between him and Huang now. 3 to go. It's been a surprisingly entertaining Road America race so far.
Yeah, it's...
They fanned out a lot. They found out a lot, quite a bit early on in the race. Oh, Huang is sideways.
Huang is sideways.
Almost drops it through turn 1.
Trying to find where Easterday is. Easterday is all the way at the back of the field.
He's in the back. He is in the very back.
He is in 8th spot.
That damage on that car is rough, too.
So, drive through.
Dropped it in turn 1. All he had to do was hold on to it, and he dropped it into turn 1. He's going to let McGraw go around the outside.
Get by him.
McGraw on the outside, heading through 3. Is drive-through going to be able to get that spot back?
No, I don't know, but I was about ready to do the math for the points, but I guess I should hold off on that because it's not done yet. But Hazard is just gone on Huang. There's a good almost second between those two, and if caution were to come out now, basically we'd finish it under yellow. So it's all based on ability here for these next couple of laps.
Battle now is going to be for 3rd place. As drive-thru's going to try to take that 3rd spot back.
Don't forget about David back there. He's still in 5th. He's got a shot.
He's
to,
been
to try and
as
get
well.
a top 3 depending on how aggressive these guys are.
Drive-thru had quite a bit of space in front of him, quite a bit of space behind him. Probably kicking himself right now that he let himself drop it right there in turn 1.
Drive-thru is going to be 8 points behind Ben if he stays in that position.
In 4th place?
In 4th place, he'll get 13 points plus 1 lap led as David goes off behind him. We stay green. He didn't hit the wall. So drive-thru will get 14 points in total. Ben will get 4 for finishing in 8th spot, since that's where he is right now. It will be an 8-point gap as drive-thru will gain 10 points off of him. If drive-thru was to finish 3rd, drive-thru would get 17 points. He would be 5 points behind him heading into DuQuoin. The gap between first and second is 5 points. If Drive-Thru wins and Ben finishes second, Drive-Thru's going to tie him heading into Slinger. So Drive-Thru really needs to think about trying to get third spot away, because that could really help him out next week at DuQuoin if he doesn't do so hot at Slinger.
With 2 to go here, he is all over the back of McGraw.
And Huang has just lost his shot at the win. He's almost 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, it looks like Huang has
McGraw,
drove the wheels off that thing.
Literally. Yeah, the gap is almost 9 seconds.
Probably no tire.
Yeah, but Drive-Thru is there. This is going to be a good battle here for third.
Drive-Thru looking to make that gap. As we all know, points are important. They are any points you can get. 1 spot up is going to make a big difference. As you said, 5 points is much better than anything more than 5, I would say.
Yeah, Drive-Thru would get another 3 points onto Ben if he can take third spot away, but he's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to set it up and make sure that 15 doesn't have a chance to get back at Drive-Thru. McGraw got wide, but Drive-Thru didn't get through turn 7 or through turn 6 all that well. So it's things like that Drive-Thru needs to cut down on here in these last 2 laps, 1.5 laps.
Ooh, McGraw goes wide again.
Oh, Drive-Thru's
going to make a move to the inside on the carousel.
He's just too far behind.
McGraw catches that grass on the inside. He's going to push him up the track a little bit, but he's going to maintain that bottom position. The bottom position on the track.
2 car lengths behind him.
Oh, big wiggle out of the carousel for Drive-Thru.
Hazard's pulling it away a little bit.
They head down into Canada corner. Can the Canadian make the move for third in the Canada corner? Ironically poetic. Nothing for him this time around. Oh, McGraw goes wide.
White flag.
Oh, Drive-Thru was real nice there.
1 to go for Hazard. As here comes everybody else.
With 1 to go, I don't think Drive-Thru's going to give him that space next time by.
You just can't overdrive it. He's just going to have to keep in that window with the 15 and try and set him up and get to him in turn 12, turn 13, something. Just to get by him, even a tap. Just enough to get by him, because these 3 points could be what keeps him from winning the title in 2 weeks at Slinger.
The last thing you want to hear is Ben Easterday champion by 3 points.
Oh, and even if they tie Drive-Thru, if Drive-Thru doesn't get the win next week and they tie 2 weeks from today, Ben should get the championship because he's won a race. He won a 12 Riviera a couple weeks back. Drive-Thru is winless.
Yeah, I believe that is the tiebreaker, is the wins, and it would go to Easterday, which you don't even want to put yourself in that position. You want to set yourself up for a victory and give it all you got in the last 2 races of the season.
Here we go, turn 5. He locked him up. That's not good. Now McGraw
doesn't let McGraw get away too much as they head into turn 6.
McGraw said this would be his last race. He said for 6 months. I don't know how long that's going to be, but this is McGraw's last shot. I'm sure he would love to get a podium, but he's lost.
Let's get open the door, Drive-Thru to the inside.
Turn 8.
Into turn 8, he's got the turn. He's got the position. McGraw's going to try to squeeze down. Drive-Thru with the better run, but McGraw's got the better positioning through the carousel.
Well, not necessarily.
Had a half a car like nose ahead. McGraw's going to take the inside line.
Oh, Drive-Thru's
side by side
on the gas. Oh, you let McGraw back by him.
That was a rough move.
He's still there.
A great run out of the carousel, though.
He's going to have to be careful in the kink. Don't let him get too far ahead.
You don't want to overdrove the kink a little bit.
They both got a little sideways there. As Hazard's coming through turn 14.
Out of turn 14.
Oh,
Hazard is
here he goes. Lick the stamp. Not enough. Oh, he dropped it. Gets it back going. He's not going to get third. Checkered flag for Hazard. And here's Cosman now looking on David. Still championship points at stake. This is coming to 14.
David's going to maintain the line through the Cosman. Going to try to get the run out of the turn.
Oh, no.
Oh, David
they
jumps.
Both crash into the tires. Cosman's got hood damage. He's going to get away. Ben is so far back. He got past Cody. Cody must have dumped it. Cody's in 8th, so Drive-Thru is actually going to be just
Cosman
just over 10
limps it
points
across the line.
short of Easterday's lead. Drive-through did finish 4th, but Easterday's gonna finish 7th. That's big for points. And it's Hazard doing his burnouts here, coming off of turn number 5.
What a race there for that 3rd spot. Great drive from McGraw to keep drive-through behind him. He gave everything he could.
I think they made a little bit of contact, and drive-through just couldn't hang on to it. And that's what sent him around. He had to get on the brakes. To keep
Easter
from
Day's
hitting the
upside down.
wall.
Oh, God. Easter Day's flipping.
Where is that? Oh, my. It's turn 1.
Looks like the old Soundhead Rider rivalries. Wouldn't be a NACOS race if somebody wasn't upside down. All right, so let's bring our race winner up here.
And bring him up once he's done with his burnouts, as he's going backwards on the racetrack right now. And, yeah, so he has parked it, and we'll bring Davey Hazard into the booth. Well, Davey, congratulations. Second win of your NACOS career after winning at Iowa 2 weeks ago. Take us through. How on earth did you hang off long there in those last couple laps?
This is gonna sound bad, but it really wasn't too hard. A lot of the time when he was trying to run hard, he was just kind of diving in a little deeper, and it ruined his exit every time. So I just kind of played the opposite game of that. I was able to come off on top most of the time.
Davey, congratulations. Calm, cool, and collected. The story of the race here so far for you. Were you worried at any point? There was a couple times where you weren't on the front row. You had to start in the middle of the field. Was there any point where you were worried that you wouldn't be able to get back?
There was a couple times when I would blow through turn 5. The brakes were really sketchy on the first couple laps, and instead of locking up my tires, I would rather go wide. And there was a couple times where it got really sketchy, and there's a time Huang bumped me, but that wasn't really that big of a deal. Really, just a couple times I blew the corners were the most worrying times as far as racing with people. It wasn't anything too exciting from my point of view.
2 races left in the NACO season. What are your hopes for the end of the season?
Win them. That's it. I just want to win those races.
Just want to win.
Yeah, I'm not in the points battle, so we gotta try and get some dubs.
Well, happy to have you here. Always been a pleasure. Happy to see that pink and black 75 out there. Dominant performance by you as well. We have a new road course champion. So best luck to you the rest of the season. We'll see you at DuQuoin and again at.
Oh yes, sir. Cheers, guys. Let's get dirty.
Cheers.
All right, so Huang finished 2nd. However, he went backwards before the checkered flag was done flying. So it scored him a lap down.
Interesting.
He's now back on the lead lap. He does have his spot back, so now the points are all set. I just want to refresh them for the stream.
Can we bring up our points leader and our not necessarily at the same time? Can we bring up the points leader and our second place points guy?
I'll tell you what, we will bring Ben up now. So Ben
Easterday, how are you doing today? Rough run there at the end for you. Strong performance most of the race. Just like you just dropped it there in that one turn. Take us through.
Yep, the race was pretty good. I was running a good race, and I just kind of lost it there. And once you get into the tires, I mean, it just kills you. So my engine was pretty dead at that point, and I just had to run as fast as I can at that point, as much as I could to keep my position.
After a couple not dominant, but a very strong beginning of the season where you ran second, and then eventually pulled that win in. Are you worried that your points lead might be?
Quite possibly. If Cosman keeps on performing like he does, I mean, these new people that have come in are great racers, and I need to kind of step it up. Same with the other people in the league. We need to step it up to keep it up with the new people who have joined.
Now the points have been tallied. You have a 11-point gap over drive-through heading into these final two races. DuQuoin is all but in drive-through's wheelhouse. He's won there multiple times. If he wins and you get second, that will be a 5-point gap, give or take, depending on laps led and all of that. Do you think you've got him at Slinger? Just in case it comes down to the last race of the season, do you think you'd be able to hold him off?
I hope so. As long as I don't get turned by Huang or anything like that, I think I should be good. But we'll see. We got 2 races to go. Anything can happen.
You're very strong on the short ovals. Had you have any experience at Slinger? You worried at all? Is it new for you? How you feeling about that one? If and when it does come down.
Oh my god.
We did it in testing, but past that point, I'm gonna have to practice and try to go as fast as I can. But that's mainly all I got from there. Just got to practice.
All right, well it wouldn't be an ORN stream without somebody screwing up math, and I'm way off. It's a
9-point
gap.
All right, that's even worse. We should have got him out of the booth before you said that.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't lying to him. But
happy to have you here in NACOS.
No
looking
problem.
forward to see how these last 2 races play out.
Of course, and again, thank you for being in the booth and hosting the races for everyone.
Absolutely. All right, let's bring drive-through in.
Bye, Ben.
Okay.
Hey, so the Canadian who dropped it in Canada corner. How are we doing? How you feeling after that?
I dropped it in turn 1, you dingus.
You almost spun there at the end as well.
Yeah, but, I did.
Strong run there trying to get that 3rd place spot from McGraw. Couldn't quite do it. Are you aware that you are now 9 points away from that?
Look, I came into this weekend. There is one car on track that I had to beat, and that was that 53. And had to make a call on that last caution there. Felt I'd saved the tires enough. Stayed out, and might have dropped it in turn 1 and fallen down to 4th place, but it worked out, and I'm within arm's reach. We're going to do coin next week. Oh, baby, I'm excited for that. It's I'm a little bit worried about Slinger, but as long as I'm within reach when we go to Slinger, then anything can happen.
Dropping the car aside, it had a strong run today. And we were thinking up here in the booth when you did stay out for that last pit stop, you were going to go try to grab that extra point just to close that gap, just that little extra bit more. And it was only, I think, 2 or 3 laps before the caution before that. Was that what you were thinking when you stayed out?
I feel decently quick here. I was fast in practice, binned it in qualifying. So I don't know. Starting at the back, first half of the race. After we got that first caution, I figured we were going to get a few more. So I was just taking it easy, saving my stuff, and saved enough to be able to stay out that one stop. I mean, I thought about the lap lead point, but it was honestly more of a track position call. And, it worked out great. Once I sort of had some clean air around me in 3rd, I could really push the car, maybe a little bit too much, but I was watching Ben. He was closing in on me those in that last run. And I think he had he made a mistake, and unfortunate. He was making me give it my all.
Yeah, we watched him get around. I believe it was Cody or David between you and him on that last restart, and we were thinking that you were going to try to put as much time between him and you as you could going into those last couple laps, so that once the tire wear started to show, you with those couple laps older tires, he'd have a lot harder time closing in on you, and you'd have him right where you need him on the while you're on defense.
Yeah, I built up a pretty solid gap while I had to get by a few guys, but then he was just reeling me in at that point. I was beginning to think about what I was going to do when he caught up to me, where I'm going to put the car, how aggressive I want to be with it. But luckily, it never came to that, and things worked out. I'm happy.
Any final thoughts for the race weekend?
It is a fun track, but it is a tough track, and I don't know my way around here too well, as you can probably see. Huang was tearing it up until his gearbox failed him.
Oh, is that what happened?
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, he lost a gear, and then from then on, obviously braking is so much harder. But I'm just looking forward to next week now. We're gonna get some practice hours in there. It's one of those tracks that just sort of suits my driving style. I'm excited for it.
All right, we will look for you next week. Maybe see you in the victory lane.
Hopefully, we're looking for it. Get that monkey off the back.
All right. So, yeah.
Final
Race.
thoughts there, Jacob.
Well, it's been a long night. You know, certainly not as long as some of the other races that we've had this season. It's a big track. It's a difficult track. It's a slick track, clearly, from what we saw today. I mean, Hazard had the class of the field from the drop of the green flag. The only car that had a shot to get to him there, we now found out, had a gearbox issue, which really, really would have cost him, really, no matter what gear he lost, because it's a road course and because gearing is so volatile here. But overall, a great race, and just how close this points battle has become. 4 races ago, Ben had an insurmountable 50-plus point lead, and now he sits 9 points ahead of Drive-Thru. Since Trois Rivières, Drive-Thru has cut that gap down, and we're heading into his track next week. I don't know, but to me, I think Drive-Thru is starting to heat up at the right time, and I think he's got one of the best shots to win the title.
Yeah, the race itself was enjoyable to be. It was a fun weekend all the way around. A lot of battling for a lot of positions there. The cautions brought the field back together. It was a big shuffle. It was interesting to see some of these drivers try to pull their way from the back to the front. Some from the front who dropped to the back. Didn't have the fortune there at the end of the race. But that points lead, that's the big thing here. With only 9 points separating the top 2 drivers, it's anybody's game at this point.
Yeah.
So with that, I guess we can sign off from Road America here in Michigan, or Wisconsin.
Michigan.
Sorry, yeah.
Some people were
From Wisconsin.
Yep.
Somewhere in the Midwest at Road America. I've been Trace Ryder for Jacob Fitz. Everybody have a good night.